Lee Marvin and Ernest Borgnine remained friends for decades, not because they were alike, but because they understood each other in ways few people could. Both men existed slightly outside Hollywood's polished expectations, never pretending to be something they weren't. Marvin carried himself with quiet intensity, shaped by war and personal struggle, while Borgnine radiated warmth, humor, and unapologetic openness. Their friendship wasn't built on image or convenience, but on mutual respect earned through shared experiences and honesty. In an industry defined by competition and ego, their bond felt unusually grounded. Marvin admired Borgnine's refusal to chase approval, while Borgnine respected Marvin's integrity and strength beneath the gruff exterior. They didn't judge each other's flaws or lifestyles. Instead, they recognized authenticity when they saw it. That shared understanding is what kept them close long after the cameras stopped rolling. Lee Marvin's early life and the weight of experience. Born in New York City in 1924, Lee Marvin grew up with privilege but little peace. He struggled in school, rebelled against authority, and seemed destined for a restless life. World War II changed everything. Enlisting in the U.S. Marine Corps, Marvin saw intense combat in the Pacific and was seriously wounded. The war left him with lasting physical pain and emotional scars that never fully faded. These experiences shaped not only his worldview, but his presence as an actor. When Marvin later portrayed soldiers, outlaws, and broken men, audiences sensed something real beneath the performance. He wasn't acting toughness, he had lived it. That authenticity became his defining trait and influenced how he judged others. Marvin respected people who were honest about who they were, especially those who didn't hide behind Hollywood facades. Ernest Borgnine's charm came from being himself. Ernest Borgnine could not have been more different on the surface. Short, broad, gap-toothed, and endlessly expressive, he never resembled a traditional leading man, yet his appeal was undeniable. Borgnine's charm didn't come from looks or mystery, but from warmth, humor, and attentiveness. He made people feel seen. Women, colleagues, crew members, strangers, all responded to that energy. Borgnine was never secretive about his love of romance or companionship, but he also wasn't cruel or dismissive. He listened, laughed easily, and treated people with kindness. In a town full of pretense, Borgnine's openness felt refreshing. Marvin, who despised artificiality, recognized that sincerity immediately. To him, Borgnine wasn't reckless or shallow. He was simply living honestly, without shame or performance. The Dirty Dozen and A Brotherhood forged. Their friendship truly solidified during the filming of The Dirty Dozen in the 1960s. The set brought together strong personalities, but Marvin and Borgnine connected almost instantly. Both were veterans. Both understood hierarchy, discipline, and loyalty, and both disliked Hollywood nonsense. Marvin's combat experience as a Marine and Borgnine's service in the Navy gave them a shared language that didn't need explanation. Offset, they bonded over long conversations, laughter, and mutual respect. Marvin was the leader by nature, Borgnine the morale booster, and together they balanced each other. What began as professional respect quickly became genuine friendship. They trusted each other, relied on each other, and never felt the need to compete. That bond, forged through shared work and shared values, endured for the rest of their lives. Why Marvin never judged Borgnine's personal life. Lee Marvin never criticized Ernest Borgnine's romantic reputation, because judgment simply wasn't part of how he viewed friendship. Marvin understood that everyone carried their own wounds and found comfort in different ways. He had his own complicated relationships and knew firsthand how fame amplified private struggles. Borgnine's openness about love and connection didn't bother him. What mattered was how Borgnine treated people, not how often he fell in love. Marvin admired that Borgnine was respectful, generous, and emotionally present, qualities that mattered more than public labels. In a town that punished imperfection while privately indulging in it, Marvin valued honesty above all else. Borgnine never pretended to be something he wasn't, and that earned Marvin's loyalty. Friendship to Marvin wasn't about agreement, it was about trust. Old-school values in a changing Hollywood. Both men shared a deep disdain for Hollywood hypocrisy. They had watched studios manipulate images, discard people, and demand conformity. Marvin often turned down roles he didn't respect, even when it hurt his career. Borgnine did the same, choosing parts that felt true rather than prestigious. They believed professionalism meant showing up prepared, treating crews well, and respecting fellow actors. Borgnine's kindness towards assistants and technicians impressed Marvin, who valued fairness deeply. Their friendship thrived because it existed outside ambition. They didn't need favors or validation from each other. They needed honesty. In an era when celebrity friendships were often transactional, Marvin and Borgnine offered something rare, a relationship built on shared principles rather than shared publicity, humor, humanity, and mutual acceptance. Marvin found something healing in Borgnine's humor. Where Marvin carried silence and gravity, Borgnine brought laughter. He told stories, cracked jokes, and lightened heavy rooms without diminishing their seriousness. Marvin appreciated that balance. Borgnine, in turn, respected Marvin's quiet depth and strength. They accepted each other fully, without pressure to change. Borgnine never tried to soften Marvin, and Marvin never tried to restrain Borgnine. That mutual acceptance created safety. They could be themselves without performance. In Hollywood, where reinvention is constant, that kind of stability is rare. Their friendship wasn't loud or performative. It was steady, comfortable, and enduring. That's why it survived scandals, aging, and the slow fading of the golden era they both represented. Loyalty that outlasted fame. As roles became fewer and Hollywood moved on, their friendship didn't fade. They appeared together at veteran events, reunions, and charity functions, always greeting each other with warmth. Marvin once described Borgnine as someone who never changed, a man whose core remained intact no matter how the industry shifted. Borgnine later spoke of Marvin with equal reverence, describing him as a brother rather than a colleague. When Marvin passed away in 1987, Borgnine carried his memory forward with pride and affection. He never sensationalized their bond. He honored it quietly, the way Marvin would have preferred. Their loyalty wasn't dependent on relevance or spotlight. It existed because it was real. Lee Marvin's declining health and final years. In his later years, Lee Marvin's health declined after decades of physical strain and hard living. He faced serious medical challenges that gradually limited his strength. Through it all, he remained fiercely private, supported by those he trusted most. Borgnine respected that privacy, offering companionship without intrusion. Marvin passed away in 1987 at the age of 63, leaving behind a legacy defined by authenticity, intensity, and integrity. His death marked the end of an era, but not the end of the values he embodied. Borgnine often spoke of him not as a legend, but as a man who lived honestly, fought hard, and stayed true to himself until the end. Why their friendship still matters. The friendship between Lee Marvin and Ernest Borgnine endures in memory because it represents something increasingly rare. Two men, flawed and unapologetic, choosing loyalty over judgment, honesty over image, and humanity over reputation. Marvin stayed friends with Borgnine, not because he ignored his imperfections, but because he understood them. In a town obsessed with appearances, they valued substance. Their bond reminds us that real friendship isn't about approval or alignment, but about acceptance. They didn't need to be alike, they needed to be real. And that truth, more than any rumor or reputation, explains why Lee Marvin stood by Ernest Borgnine until the very end.